Some new products, I just want to go over them quickly. Most of you guys had a chance to see them. I was going to show them on here, but I don't know if we'll get to that. We'll see in a minute. There it goes. Assembly lube. You understand what AMSOIL's doing with this stuff? They're trying to create a situation where the guys that build the engines, they can have an assembly lube, then we also have break-in oil, and then when we're ready to go racing, we have racing oil, okay? So it's from inception out to performance. They're trying to have this. Now, this is because there are a number of builders around the country who have taken an interest in AMSOIL. They build race cars and specialty engines and so forth. So why not give them a product that they can use? Now, we may not sell much of that here in this room, but AMSOIL is just trying to be ahead of the curve and have an assembly lube for those folks that are going to eventually recommend AMSOIL in the stock cars that they build and so forth. And they've been asked about this assembly lube for a long time. Now, break-in oil. You know, you would think, well, just tell them to run some of that rock gut petroleum and break it in that way, right? That's true, but it's really interesting because you can actually make an oil that has the characteristics to be a good break-in oil and at the same time not cause damage to the engine, okay? So the 30 weight break-in oil that AMSOIL has is a petroleum-based oil. They're going to put a synthetic as a break-in oil. That'd be kind of counterproductive. So what they've done is they have additized this oil so that it will give you the maximum break-in and yet protect those parts that don't actually break in. In other words, we're not trying to break in the bearings. They're not supposed to break in. We are trying to seat the rings on the engine. Now, if you understand what's going on there, if you did a microscopic look at the surface of that cylinder, it would have these asperities or irregularities in its height, right? Peaks and valleys, right? Now, your piston ring comes down and it's got a little wedge of oil in between it and the side. That's what it's doing. What you want to happen is for through both a little bit of wear and through what they call hydraulic polishing, is that the oil sitting between the ring and the side will actually smooth the surface going up and down. That's how it breaks in. It bends those little tips over, these little microscopic things, and the pressure of the oil is what you want it to do. You don't really want the piston ring itself contacting the metal in order to push it down, but you want an oil that will work in there to flatten that out and smooth the surface. Well, that's what they've done with this stuff. But at the same time, over the bearings, you want the oil to have enough what you would call film strength to separate the bearings without wearing the bearings. So you actually have to make an oil and put the right additives in it so that it'll do both things. And that's what they've done with this oil. So it's a very good break-in oil. It says to run at 1,000 miles and you'll have your rings are seated. Now, if you don't seat rings, everybody knows, you know what happens when the rings aren't seated? Anybody?
Burn oil.
Yes, sir. You'll just burn oil, keep burning oil because you don't have a good ring cylinder seal. And how that really burns oil in a modern car is it allows too much blow-by. It pressurizes the crankcase. When the crankcase gets pressurized, the PCV, which stands for positive crankcase ventilation, opens up, and oil vapor goes with it and shoots it right into the throttle body of the car, and it burns it. Now people say, yeah, but you don't see any smoke. You'll never see any smoke with AMSOIL. It burns smokeless base stock, okay? But petroleum oil you would. But here's the point. You'll have people saying, man, you know, I don't understand it. I'm just consuming this AMSOIL. And sometimes you have to say, well, when did you start using it? And AMSOIL still says, oh, no problem. You can put this in a brand new car because they have quick seat rings. And maybe some do, all don't. Most rebuild engines never get what they call quick seat rings. What happens is in a rebuild, they get these really good, high, hard chrome moly rings and they put them in there. And those things have to have a break-in period. So if a guy rebuilds an engine, you tell him, look, we have a break-in oil, run this for 1,000 miles and then shift over to the synthetic and you'll be a happy camper. If he doesn't, he puts the synthetic in too early, he comes back and says, I've used 4 quarts of oil in my car, that ain't no good. You go, well, it's proving to you that you can't get enough wear with the synthetic oil to break in the engine. So stop doing it.
Is it too late at that point, or can you?
No, you just drain it back out and put the break-in oil in and fix it. All right, so break-in oil. Now, 50 weight long life, 500,000 mile synthetic transmission oil, strictly designed for over-the-road trucks. That's what it's for. They call them line haul or over-the-road trucks. It's 5-gallon buckets. That's about what it takes, is a 5-gallon bucket in most of the transmissions in an 18-wheeler or large truck. And the whole idea, straightforward. You put this oil in, it's engineered and designed, it's going to go the distance, 500,000 miles. Okay? It is not designed for the Munson transmission in your rebuilt Mustang. It's not designed for your pickup truck. It's designed to be where it's got about a 5-gallon volume. That's important. If you get the volume down too far, it ain't going to go 500,000 miles. It has to have enough volume to cool itself and do its job. And the big trucks have about a 5-gallon sum in those transmissions. You get down to a gallon or two, you're going to have to cut the life of it. It ain't going to go that distance. It needs to run cool, and it'll do fine. Okay? And I say cool, I mean 120, 130 degrees, but not 160, 180 degrees, which you could get in a smaller volume where it really gets heated up through the load and the tail end of an engine it's sitting on.